You are live. What's up, everyone? I am live. Very excited to be here. Now, one thing that we realized, from last session. Here we go. Okay, here we are. Let's see. It's pretty loud, isn't that? One thing we learned from last session is that we were not actually coming off of the right, nice microphone that I've got sitting right here. It's actually off my desktop microphone, which sucks. Anyways, you guys can hear me? Let me know. Let me know. Yeah, exactly. Boom part 2. It's right. Your volume decreased. Oh, that sucks. Hey, give me just a moment here. Let me make sure that I'm ready to rock. We got the right input. Boom. Output level. And boom. There we go. Woo! Is that better? That mo better. All right, we got the internal speakers going out there. Sweet. Awesome, guys. Hey, I'm excited for this. Okay, this is the session I was going to say I get most excited for. That's not true. I get excited for pretty much all the sessions. I see my shirt underneath. I hate it. All right. You guys ready for this? So what we left on last time was market selection and a lot of the processes that I go through and a lot of those things that I pulled together. Just know that they do come from a lot of other books, right? And things that I've spent a lot of time going through and figuring out. So what the second session is going to be all about today is, for right now, it's going to be all about things that I now gather from the red ocean now that I know who they are. And now that I understand who it is that I'm going to be selling to. Okay, so let me draw this again just real quick so that we all are on the same page. We all understand what we're doing here with this. You're making history here, man. Hey, thank you very much, Gene. Appreciate that. Everyone have a good lunch. Nice. All right, let me do the official. Woo! What's up, everyone? Welcome back to session number 2. And we are recording this. I'm very excited for you guys to be here. I am just starting right from the top here for the recording and for what all we're doing. So anyways, I'm excited about this because this is all about, well, last one is called Choosing the Market. I call this Red Ocean Analytics. And what it is it's a checklist of things that I grab from my Red Ocean before I even go and try to think through what I'm going to be selling, what the offer that I create, any of that stuff. I actually don't go and even think about the offer. I don't think about any of that stuff until I'm able to actually answer this checklist. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up, I'm telling you this right now. This is actually it's a living, breathing checklist. It's not something that I am done with. All right. Every time I go and I start building something, I always run through this checklist, but it's something that as I learn and as I learn more and more criteria, it gets added to a lot. And so this is what it currently is. Okay. I'm telling you that. All right. Make sure you guys can hear. All right. And we got that. Boom. There we are. All righty. So if we got right again, health, wealth, relationships, I'm going to draw that a lot. And it's just to keep pounding it in, but it's also because everything that you're about to hear builds off of what happened during the last session. All right, so if we got health, wealth, relationships, and we are deciding that we are going to sell, health, and we've got a red ocean right here, and we're like, I can now name my red ocean. I know what it actually is. Okay, that's a big deal. Now what we're doing is we're going to start looking at this. We're going to start saying, what is it that I need to know here in order to go on and fuel a sales message and an offer? And again, this is exactly the opposite that most people go about doing this. I'm not even considering the fact that I'm going to be going in and building an offer yet. It's not actually at that point. So I'm going to dive straight into the checklist here. So there are, and just to kind of set the stage, I'm just checking my notes, making sure that we're on track here, which we are. One of the questions that people kept asking me, I remember when I was in college, people kept asking the question, what is your market, Stephen? What's your market, right? And until when I walked through last session, I was never able to answer that question. What is my market? How big is the market? Well, the market doesn't want that right now. And I remember the first time I was, it was one of my first business tries. I was actually taking real estate contracts, and I would go bid down on prices for a house or a commercial building based on damages, and then I would flip the contract in the closing period. And that's what I was trying to do anyways, and it didn't work. And I got 7 contracts, and there was it's terrible. I had never done anything like that before. I didn't know what I was doing. I was trying tons of stuff, but I remember that myself and others, I remember saying things to other people like, "Oh, the market just wasn't ready," or "The market doesn't actually want the thing that we're doing," or whatever it was. I remember the market seemed very powerful, very very, but it's undefinable. At the same time, I had no idea what the market was. And so hopefully last session was able to kind of help teach what that really is. And you guys can start kind of getting that in your head as to what it really is. So anyways, now that we know what that is though, and hopefully you're getting somewhat of an idea, and some of you guys, it might be obvious. So like I know that what I'm selling into and all the source of my data, it's going to be this market or that market or whatever. My hope is that while we move forward in this, you're able to sit back and you're actually trying to write down these things as you go. Now, when I go out and I do a lot of consulting for people, what I honestly do is sometimes what I'll do is I'll have them watch some kind of training similar to this, or I'll have them walk through the checklist that you're about to see. And the purpose of it is that you're able to go in and think through these things the first time. And I'll tell you that most people can't answer the questions that you're about to see. They can't answer them right off the bat. And it becomes their homework assignments as they go and they actually discover and learn their market. And then it becomes very natural and very easy to create offers, very natural and very easy to launch offers, and which funnel is associated with it. Anyway, so I'm excited about this. So let's go through this. So there is, now, as we've talked about a market, right, there's buyers and there's sellers, okay, obviously, but understand that clearly. So there's going to be things that we learn about the buyers, and there's going to be things that we learn about sellers inside of the red ocean, inside of the market. And the biggest mistake people make, I see, is that they just go and funnel hack or look at only sellers. That's a massive, massive issue. I also need data from buyers. And so we're going to look at both sides of it, and there's several checkpoints along the way. Now, I used to draw this almost like a baseball diamond, like there's four things from the buyers and 4 things from the sellers. The issue with that is that, like I said, it's a living, breathing checklist, so I don't think that's actually viable anymore. There's just a checklist. So I'm just going to walk through a checklist here of a lot of the things that I get from, again, the buyers and the sellers as I move forward on this, okay? So let's do... All right. Let's check this out here. So the way I like to think about it is like, buyers are kind of on the outside looking in of a pot of, sellers are on the outside looking in at all the buyers buying their stuff. Almost like this is like lined like stores, like a marketplace, since we call it the market. A lot of times the way I'll visualize it is like, oh, this ring is actually what it is. It's a whole bunch of businesses, right, in a circle, because remember, we're selling inside of the marketplace. You know what I mean? Woo! Does that make sense? And then on the inside, so on the outside, we have sellers. And on the inside, we have buyers. That's just how I visually think about it. Anyway, so let's walk through the checklist, though. Checklist from both buyers and sellers. Now, a lot of this stuff actually works in hand in hand. So something that I'll get from the buyers, I'll also, for the same topic, I'll look at it to see how the sellers have been looking at it, and vice versa throughout. So what I'm actually going to do here is let's actually put let's put sellers here. Cool. Just going to the right spot in my list here. And again, I'm not looking at the comments right now or anything like that as we move forward, but I certainly will come back to them as we move. All right. So there are, like I said, buyers, and then let's look at sellers. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to create a list that's kind of just running just down the side down right here. Okay. And this is what's interesting about this is I find that when somebody walks through this, I do a lot of consulting now for people, and one of the things that it's interesting, existing companies tend to like what I'm about to go through right here the most. Last session, as well as this session, it's the thing that they usually like the most. If they are a new person to the space, they usually like my offer creation templates, which we haven't even gotten to, which I believe is tomorrow. We'll go through a lot of offer creation templates, when to use them, when to create them. Not only do I go through the templates, but there's certain funnel types that display and deliver certain kinds of offers the best, which is really cool. Really, really strong patterns throughout. And then there's also different kind of campaigns and such that launch each of those the best too. So anyways, that's a lot what tomorrow is a lot of offer templates. Anyway, so let's walk through this though. This kind of weird pattern I've noticed though is that it's a lot of existing companies, they love the positioning, and what I'm about to walk through here, the new people tend to like the offer creation stuff the most because it's sexy and it feels like it's something you can pull off immediately. But I tell you to still do it in the order, whether you're new or experienced, that I'm walking you through right now. Okay. Now, some of you have probably heard some of this stuff before. I'm just going to rifle through like you haven't. All right. Now, One of the biggest things that you guys can learn from this, not all buyers are created equal, right? Not all buyers are created equal. I remember there's a few, it's probably about 6 months ago. In fact, this has happened multiple times. This lady reached out to me and she goes, Steven, I want to see your product. I want your product, but what ROI can you guarantee me? And I said, what are you talking about? She said, what ROI will you guarantee after I buy your product? And I said, I'm not going to guarantee you any ROI. And she goes, you're not going to stand by your product? I was like, no, I stand by my product. I don't stand by you. I don't know your work ethic. I don't know are you even going to do what I tell you to? Are you going to go through and do all the pieces? Like, I guarantee if you do it, your chances of success are really good. Okay. But if you don't do it and you're like, Steven said he would help me and then he didn't, I'm not here to build your business. Okay. I'm going to show you what to do as the entrepreneur and the CEO of your own thing, but I'm not here to make you successful. And she did not like that. I said, I don't guarantee you any ROI. And she didn't buy, which is great. I actually want that kind of customer out. Right. But that's the point. That's the point. Okay. There are multiple criteria that creates what I call the dream customer. What we're going to walk through in this, by the time we're done with these data points, okay, what we should have is a map. We get several outputs from what I'm about to go through. We actually get a map of the dream customer, okay, or avatar is what a lot of people call it too. Okay, we get a map of what the dream customer is and the avatar throughout the process. But then we also get so much into the psyche of the individual that it fuels everything we need to create as far as what their current pain points are and the offer we deliver, as well as the sales message that they're going to be most excited to hear. Makes sense? So that's the outputs of what we're going to go through right now. It is what is the dream customer mixed with what is the offer they're going to be wanting, mixed with what is the sales message that we probably will need to develop. Message. Okay. The sales message that we're going to go and develop. And there's several other small things along the way that I want to go share with you guys as well. But one of the most common phrases people say is that people need to be willing and able in order to purchase, right? Like whoever was asking last time about selling teenagers, they're probably willing. They're just not able, right? You're not selling teenagers. You're selling parents who have money because the teenager probably doesn't have money, right? So I need to sell people who are willing and able and a dream. So I'm actually going to add one more criteria to those I'm trying to sell, right? That lady that I was speaking with, she was willing, she was able, right? But she was not a dream. I am not in the business of convincing somebody to come buy from me. Selling is not convincing. They're not the same thing. So when someone walks up to me and they're like, Steven, convince me on why I should buy your product. I'm like, no, no, you're either going to get it or you're not. And the way I bring you into purchasing my thing often dictates how successful you are post-purchase. Okay, that's a big sentence right there. That's a big statement to say. Okay, so understand, like, I want, now that we've gotten crystal clarity on what single market we're going to go in and buy or sell to, we're going to get massive clarity on who it is that we actually sell inside of this red ocean, right? Because not all buyers are the same. And not, right, buyers are buyers. Yes, for sure, okay? But at the same time, like, there's this little tiny sliver inside of here that is the dream easy customer who also is the laydown, who buys easily, who executes well, who becomes awesome success stories, who actually does what it is. Now, I am not in the business of convincing somebody. You know what's fascinating is, and we'll talk about this more as we keep moving forward too, but like a lot of times people reach out to me on Facebook and they'll be like, Steven, I'm thinking about buying your thing. I just have a few questions for you. I never respond because I am not the funnel. Okay, I'm not the funnel. Because I'm not the funnel, I don't respond. Okay. That might sound crazy. You have to understand what I'm building here. I want to stack as many cards in my favor as I possibly can, right? Against the models that work and actually create cash the easiest. Okay. Guys, I'm the capitalist pig, right? And as I say those things, right, you should get rich. It's not going to happen on accident. You need to do it on purpose, right? But as I say those things, if somebody's like, oh, Steven, but you get rich so you can give back. Well, I guess that's true. But are you hiding behind that so you feel better about getting rich? Right? You hide it. You know what I mean? As I say these things, be cognizant of the knee-jerk reactions you tell yourself and the reactions to what I say here. But, Steven, right? And you need to redefine your relationship with cash, okay? And why it works, why it doesn't, why you're getting it, why you aren't. And know, anyway, I'm going to say a lot of statements like that moving forward here. And I'm trying to develop always who really is my dream customer. And it changes. Okay. So as we come in here, I wager that we don't just need people who are willing and able. We need people who are willing and able and a dream. Now, when I say dream customer, just so we're all on the same page with this, I am not saying a could-be customer. A could-be customer is very different than a dream customer. Okay. A could-be customer is somebody who's willing and able. Yeah, they could. Why? The only thing that's qualifying them to buy and come into my thing and actually buy from me or whatever is the fact they have money. I don't just want somebody who has money. Just because they're willing and able, in my mind, does not actually qualify them to buy from me. Okay? They need to be willing and able and a dream. A could-be customer is like this. In fact, a lot of people do this. Right? And I've done it too, so I'm not throwing rocks or anything, but people will sit up, they'll look across the street and be like, oh, you know what? You know, Mr. Jones over there, he's having a hard time. He's having a hard time right now. Stuff's rough. And he could really use what I'm doing. Okay? He needs what I'm doing right now. Right? Or their business needs what I'm selling right now. Or that is not a dream customer. Okay, a dream customer that is somebody that has a pre-existing desire for your thing without you creating it. Make sense? That's why this checklist we're about to walk through is such a huge deal. Because if I can go out and I can say, here's my dream customer, and the dream is somebody who's willing and able, and they have a pre-existing disposition to purchase what I'm going to go sell them, that's a big deal. It actually hacks the game. I don't need to be in the business of answering every single Facebook message that comes in. My funnel either converted them or it didn't, right? And I am not the funnel. So I'm not going to go in and be the one who's trying to close everybody. Does that make sense? As we move forward on this, understand that when we get into a little more funnel design and stuff like that, which we might be able to get into, what I'm designing and looking for is where the pot starts to leak. And I go in and I plug up the holes. Right. And that's why I start tweaking the sales message and the offer harder and then the funnel last. Okay. And this is where I figure out all these pieces with it. All right, let's go into this. Alrighty. So with the buyers and the sellers, I'll just use these markers here. It's fine. Okay. A buyer's a buyer. Yes, but they're not all created equal. So one of the first things I look for is what I call, and some of you guys have seen this, but whatever. It's the 3 personas of the red ocean. Okay. These are 3 separate individuals. And I realized this while I was mowing the lawn one day. And I realized this is when I was back. I was kind of realizing that I was selling the wrong person and I was not selling my dream customer. And so what I was doing, so 3 personas. Okay, the 3 personas inside the red ocean are these. Right? The first is called the diehard. I call them the type 3. Okay, the diehard. What's interesting about the diehard is somebody like myself with ClickFunnels. ClickFunnels hasn't asked me to name drop them today, but I've name dropped them like crazy. Why? Because I'm a ClickFunnels diehard, right? This is like when 2 people are cheering for opposing teams during the Super Bowl, and then they get into a fight over which team is best. No one wins. No one wins, right? I don't ever want to sell or even attract a diehard to my funnel. Okay, I actually am actively trying to keep them out of my funnel, because they are the people that reach out to me and they start having a feature war. When you start having a feature war with those people who are inside your funnel, or when you start having a feature war with those who are thinking about buying your product or already have, what happens is the feature war is 100% one of the reasons why you don't sell like you want to. Or it's 100% one of the reasons why people are like, honestly, it's the biggest reason why people don't like the businesses they build. Okay, is because since I am a diehard over what I do, if I speak the language of a diehard and I go and I start attracting a diehard from my red ocean to come over into the blue, that's the worst customer ever. They fight me tooth and nail on everything. It's not, is this true? It's not, am I teaching real things? It's, they just got all these hangups. And they want to fight me and everything. And they want, well, I'm right. And I'm like, man, we booted several people from last session. So I'm like, you're a diehard. And I don't understand what your arguments are. You just want to complain about something. Don't do it here. You're gone, right? Banned. Diehard. And that's what I'm looking for a lot of times when I am interacting with an audience or when I'm looking around inside of the red ocean. There better be diehards. I just am not trying to sell them. And because I can't. It turns into a feature war. I never, ever, ever, ever want to sell a diehard. Most of the time when I'm doing an offer audible on people's stuff or a funnel audible, it is easily it's one of the largest reasons I see the message isn't converting how they want it to. The reason is because they have written a sales message that speaks diehard language. Here's why that's an issue, right? And again, a lot of you guys have seen these kinds of concepts, but let me teach them maybe in a way you haven't. So if you're over here and you start having these epiphanies, right? We call the Epiphany Bridge script. And you're like, man, I'm going to go and I'm going to learn this thing over here. And you start crossing this bridge and all of a sudden you have this major epiphany, right? And you come over here on this other side, and as you're learning, let's say you're going to go be a skier, right? My family was huge into skiing growing up. Here's what's interesting is the worst thing on the planet happens to you when you start to geek out about something. Vocab. You learn all kinds of techno babble, right? Just tons of it. And you geek out and you learn the who's who and the what's what. And you learn the science behind the stuff. And you learn all kinds of, which is great. But then when you go and you start selling other people, you speak diehard language. That gets rid of the other two personas I'm going to walk through, but it also attracts those who are also diehards who just want to fight about something, right? So I am actively keeping them out of my communities. I'm actively keeping them away from buying my products, okay? I'm going to teach you how to do that as we move forward here, but just understand that, okay? So a diehards, the only reason a diehard changes is because of a full-out identity shift. It is one of the hardest things to do. Major copywriters can pull that kind of stuff off typically. But man, like it's not easy, okay? It is ClickFunnels is part of my identity. When somebody walks up to me and they say, Steven, did you know there's another way you could build funnels? I'm like, yeah, I'm sure there is. There's tons of ways, right? Unlimited ways. You know there's another way to build funnels? I'm like, I don't even care. It could be free. I don't care. It has nothing to do with price or value for me. Most of the time, the reason why someone's not selling successfully is because that message is attracting other diehards from the red ocean. Okay, you can't do that. Okay, the second type is this. The second type is somebody who's successful. Okay, so a shift over to blue or a transition here is based on an internal identity shift. Okay. Okay, identity shift. So now the second one here is someone who's successful. Now a successful person will transition from the red ocean over to a blue ocean based on price and value. Those are your bargain hunters. All right, those are the people who are having enough success with whatever the red ocean is delivering to them to justify continuing to use it. I don't need to go sell that individual, right? I don't want to sell that kind of individual. Okay, if I sit back and I start thinking to myself, let me go get some other successful people. The problem with most copywriting courses and the things that are out there is that they are trying to say, hey, successful people, did you know you have these problems? And then you have to germinate the problem. You have to bring it out. You have to make it seem larger than it is for the individual and then swoop in with the solution. I hate that. I don't ever want to do that. That drives me nuts. I don't like that. I don't like when someone tries to do it to me. Right? Door-to-door sales guys. I'm a door-to-door sales guy. I was for a while. But that's like the biggest way that you're taught to sell. Okay, I hated that. And I would wake up every day trying to sell things to people who were not planning on buying anything that day until I got smart about it and I started putting up ads online for our pest control. And suddenly my phone started blowing up with people reaching out to ask me, hey, could I get your pest control? I got ants in my pants. There's bugs in the walls, right? Right? They would have legitimate issues and they would buy at the highest prices. And they would stick the longest, and they'd be the easiest person ever. And I was like, there's a huge lesson in this. What is it? And so you have to understand, like, what I'm doing with this is I'm not ever going to try and sell a diehard. And there's going to be a portion of your audience over in the red ocean that is a diehard. Okay, they're the diehards. They're the ones that are, like I said, super hard to sell. They're feature based, meaning in how they speak. They get into feature wars. The successful people, the type 2s, they're cool. But usually you're not the ones that sell them, right? If you think about the diffusion of innovations, this curve, Right. It's like the first 13, 16%, something like that. Those are like the ones that take on something that's early. The innovators is like the first 2% that take on something new solution to the marketplace. And then there's like that 13%, something like that is the early adopters. And then as soon as the early adopters take something on, the early majority takes on that thing the fastest, right? Once the early majority takes on something, then the rest of the population is cool to bring that on. These last few people only go and adopt a new solution because literally rotary phones don't exist anymore. You know what I mean? They're the ones who update because whatever they were using is not even made anymore. Okay. So what I'm trying to tell you guys is like when I'm going in and I'm selling these people, I go for the type ones. I'm going for the type ones. And those are the people that hate. They're unhappy with the solutions that are available to them in the red ocean. What that does is it lets them, since they're already in motion, it lets these early people come on and buy from you. And they are the ones that sell the type 2s. And the type 2s sell the type 3s, not me. My only role is to get this first like 13% interested. That should be like really alleviating. That should be like really, oh my gosh, that's awesome. That makes the game so much easier. Yeah, it makes it a lot easier. I only need like 13% of the red ocean to even be slightly interested, and they sell the rest of the people for me. The only thing I do is I collect their testimonials and I republish them like crazy. Okay. Now my customers are selling my future customers. That makes sense? Because these guys, the diehards, they just want to be in a feature war. They just want to fight something. Okay. I just want to fight something too sometimes. They're like, look, someone try to tell me the lead pages are better than ClickFunnels. I dare you. Okay. Because I'm ready for that battle. But that's the point. Okay. A lot of you are trying to sell that kind of person. Stop. You need to understand that there's not all the same kind of buyer in there. And the easiest buyer in there is somebody who they're in the red ocean. Let me rewrite that because it's kind of huge. I'm going to write a lot on this board. Okay, but they hate it. What's cool about this, when you think back to like Eugene Schwartz, this is not hot traffic. This is one level past hot traffic. Okay, they just don't know another solution exists. That's not warm traffic. Okay, by Eugene Schwartz. You guys remember this? Hot, warm, cold traffic. This is one of the biggest questions I get when I'm talking about this. Remember, problem aware, solution aware, problem aware, but not solution aware, right? Not problem aware, not solution aware. Okay. When I say that these people are using whatever the red ocean products are, and they just don't know another option, that's not the same thing as warm traffic. Warm traffic, part of the definition of warm traffic is not buyer. Okay, so I'm looking for hot traffic who is a buyer because they're willing to vote with their wallets, not just their mouths. And I'm going to go and I'm going to say, hey, why don't you come? Right? So it's a hot traffic person who's problem aware, solution aware, and a buyer. That's a key differentiator because these people are not defined as being a buyer. Okay, so it's one level past Eugene Schwartz on this stuff. Okay, it's somebody who's also a buyer and a user. How many times do you buy something you don't use it? Okay, they're a buyer, they're a user, they're in it. They're all about the red ocean. They've been using it. They're just mad that they still don't feel like they're getting the results that they want. That is the easiest person to sell on this planet. That's who I target. That's why my stuff sells so well. That's why my stuff is amazing when I drop it out there. I learned how to talk directly to the person who's in the red ocean, is sold on the red ocean, but not getting the results that they want. They just don't know where else to go to. That's very different than a warm traffic person. Okay. All right. Let me keep going on this. Now, somebody who is I call it the type 1 persona. They're the best person to go sell. I only create my sales message for them in hot traffic, in a market. It says very, very, very specific on who it is I actually speak with. What's interesting about this the types that hate it, the only thing that they really need is a new option. Okay, they don't really struggle typically with internal hangups. I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I can't pull this off. I don't know enough. They're not usually that kind of person. They're not usually the kind of person either who's hung up on external based beliefs. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough support from spouse. I don't have enough this. I don't have enough time. They're typically not the kind of individual who is stuck on those kinds of beliefs. The person who's the type 1, usually the thing that will get them to actually move is literally a new vehicle, just a new option. They just need to try something different. Okay. New New or different option. I don't want to say better. You don't build blue oceans for making things that are better. You build blue oceans out of things that are different. Super, super key. I hope I have enough room to write all this. We got a lot. It didn't look like I moved that over at all. It did. All right. Now, so those are the buyers, right? And those are things that I'm learning from the buyers. And I want to learn who they are, and I'm going to learn how to target that type 1 persona. Okay. So that's the first of the checklist for the buyers here. So it's visually easy to see as we kind of move forward here on this. Okay. Makes sense? I'm going to move on. So what do I look for? What's one of the first points I look for in the sellers? Now, this is where traditional funnel hacking kicks in. Traditional funnel hacking has us go in and look to see who are the most successful sellers inside of the red ocean, right? Who is it that actually successfully figured out how these people want to buy, how these people want to be sold, what it is they like to buy, what it is, how they like to have that delivered to them. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to go in and all I care about at this phase is identifying whoever the red ocean category king is. Okay, right? The Steve Jobs of the smartphone. Does that make sense? The Google of search engines. It's clearly Google who owns the majority of that solution, right? So I want to see, I call it the rock, red ocean category king, ROCK. The red ocean category king. Now, at this point right now, I'm not really looking at too much more from the red ocean category king, but I at least need to be able to identify who it is. And if you're like, who's my red ocean category king? If you're asking that question, you probably don't know your market because they're usually not very hard to find. Because remember, these category kings own well over half of the market share of the red ocean. You know what I mean? So they're not hard to find. They're usually the ones that are publishing the most. They're the ones with publications in general. They're the ones who are usually doing a lot of ads. They're the ones who do a ton of promotions. They got deals. They're loud. Other people are talking about them. Other people who are not a part of their company are talking about them, meaning other companies and their competitions. It's usually not very challenging to find whoever the red ocean category king is. And if you have to ask that question, like, I would not launch anything yet. Go find out who they are and go get familiar with them, okay? All right. Here we go. Okay. Moving on to the next part here. Okay. Here we go. All right, now let's go back to buyers again. And there's a strong possibility I'm going to have to keep erasing this and for the next parts of the checklist. At OfferMind, it looks all good. It's super cool. I don't teach the same stuff at OfferMind as I did the previous year. And I've only done it once, but I can already tell I'm not going to. So if you came last year, it's not the same stuff. Anyway. Here we go. All right, now here are more things that I look inside of the red ocean, specifically around the buyers. Buyers are interesting, right? Buyers have a lot of cool beliefs around whatever they're buying, whether it's some cool info product or it's, you know, it doesn't matter whatever they're buying. Whatever they're buying, there's always beliefs around it. And if nothing gave them the belief while they were buying it, they had the belief before they went to go buy it. It makes sense? I'm talking about beliefs. Beliefs are the things that we need to look at next here. This is specifically what starts to fuel the sales message and kind of the offer. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look to see inside of here, what are the beliefs that these buyers have around the vehicle? Now, if you don't know what vehicle means, or you're kind of new to this space and this world, the vehicle specifically, when we say vehicle, we mean like product or solution, right? Inside this red ocean right here, there's a bunch of solutions, but there's also an aggregate belief around why they're all using it. Okay, so if I come over here, just going to drive me a little nuts here. I want to see what are the beliefs people have about the current ocean. Something got them in there. And not only that, something is keeping them using that vehicle. Okay, something is keeping them using that vehicle. Why? What is it? What's the belief? What's the belief around that? Okay. I remember it was right after I got to ClickFunnels, and I was sitting next to the man, and I has such an immense respect for him and what he does. And and Russell started drafting the Expert Secrets book, and it was cool. I had the opportunity to sit there and observe and participate in some of the concepts, and kind of bouncing the ideas back and forth. And I mean, I learned a ton, right? I learned like crazy. I remember though there was this afternoon, we started talking about the book and the Expert Secrets book, and he was drafting it, and he would draw pictures, and then he would teach it to me, and we'd go back and forth on principles and try to debunk it, and I would say, and he would say back, and we'd go back and forth on these things. Well, there's a certain night, this afternoon, we start talking about it, and pretty much he and I kept going into the evening a little bit, and there was a certain night where we realized, oh my gosh, all belief is upheld by story, even if it's a false belief or a false story. All belief is upheld by story. So what I'm looking for is I'm looking to see what is the story that the story or experience that somebody went through that installed this belief into their head, right? So not only what is the belief here, so let's put belief. I want to know what the belief is around that vehicle, right? There's some pretty intense belief around Steve Jobs' products, right? Huge belief. It's not just a phone. And I think people would contend that that's how the audience treats it that way as well, right? His audience, for sure. It's not just a phone, right? It's far more than that, which is fascinating, right? So there's a belief around that vehicle product, and then there's belief, but there's also a story. Okay. Why is it that they're really using it? What gave them the epiphany that, oh my gosh, I need to be using an iPhone? Something gave that to them. And it may not have been Steve Jobs, right? It may not have been an ad. It may not have been any of his marketing messages or anything like that, right? It's likely that it was something else, that something else popped into their head, or another person, if they were someone who's successful, they already liked their BlackBerry. I think of blueberry. I saw the color blue. They might have already liked their BlackBerry. They might have already liked their flip phone. They were fine with it, right? Maybe they're not an early adopter. Maybe they're not an innovator, but something gave them the epiphany. I should go get one of those phones. And then they actually got off their butt and they went and they did it, right? Humans are naturally lazy. Lazy is maybe not the right word, but we take the path of least resistance, right? And so you think about how human beings, we're naturally, as a species, right? If we don't need to go through some kind of discomfort, we're very fine not going through it. So if somebody's moving along in the red ocean, they're doing all this stuff, they're going about their life, to suddenly change tracks, that's a big deal. That's why I look at this. Okay, what is it that gave them the epiphany that I should be using a different product? What got them into that red ocean in the first place? That is very fueling for our sales message as we move forward. Okay, the same thing is true with internal based beliefs. You can see where I'm going with this. That's going to be true for external. Now, there's a sentence that all of this can be wrapped up into. In fact, there's a podcast episode that's going out about it in, I think, a few weeks here. But it's a belief in a story for the internal beliefs, the external beliefs. And here's the sentence, okay? The sentence that kind of wraps up the majority of how I gauge how sold somebody is. Okay, this is the way it works. There's a great book called Pitch Anything. I'll always try to cite my sources, guys. Pitch Anything is a fantastic book. Absolutely love it. One of my favorites. In that book, he teaches that anytime anything new pops up in front of us, anytime anything new pops up in front of us, boosh, a bunch of red flags go all over, right? And the red flags say things like, careful, right? Fight, flight, freeze, aware, right? Is it going to be boring? Should I run? Should I eat this? Should I mate with it? Okay, there's a bunch of questions that pop up inside of our brain that have been there for a while, right? Those are the things that keep us alive, keep us protected, and we don't even know that it's happening most of the time. Well, the same thing was true when they first entered this red ocean. They're going to do the same thing to you when they see your blue, which is why we're looking at this. Okay, this creates a map. I call it the scaffolding for the blue. Okay, we're going to create the scaffolding so it's a map. Then we can take the relevant pieces, take a stamp, and go stamp it onto the blue. So it's a very seamless transition for people as they come over to your thing instead of your competitors. Okay, so here's the sentence though. People look at the vehicle and they go, I see that this vehicle has the possibility to work. I see the possibility that this vehicle has the ability to get me where it's to do what it says it's going to do, just generally. Okay. And if they can accept that belief, they progress. They actually graduate to the next belief, which is internal. Okay. So now they start looking at themselves, right? And they say things like, okay, I see. So the sentence looks like this now. I see that vehicle could get me health. Right? I see this vehicle could get me health. Let me start. Hopefully it's making sense to you guys. But I would write this out, okay? Because when you know when somebody's sold on the vehicle because they're like, yeah, I see that it's possible, but I don't know if I can pull it off. Oh, they got stuck up on internal. Or they say, yeah, I see it's possible. I think I could actually pull it off as well. Internal. I see it's possible. I see I could pull off as well. I see that I have the time, money, resources, and support to actually pull this off also. Okay. It's kind of like if you're driving a car. I see that this car could actually take me. Actually, let me start over. I see that this car could take me to where you're saying it's supposed to. That's a vehicle-based belief. Yes, that vehicle has the capacity to actually get where it's going to try to go. Okay. I see that I have the ability to drive it. Okay. Now that's an internal-based belief. I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I don't have the capacity. I don't know how to do this. Okay. If they gotten past that, what they're saying to themselves is, I could pull that off. I could get in the driver's seat of that vehicle. Okay. And then the one that people will get hung up on a lot of times is external. Okay. So the sentence looks like, that car could actually get where it's trying to go. And I have the ability to get behind the driver's seat and actually pilot it. And I have enough gas in the tank in order to get there and enough time to do so. Does that make sense? That's kind of how the sentence runs out. And so what I'm trying to do when I look to see inside of a red ocean is I'm basically hitting that sentence against the red ocean to see how far people are sold inside the red ocean. Okay, because some of them might be sold that the vehicle is possible, but they are just not able to see themselves pulling it off anymore. That's good. That's good. That means I can take that thing and it will become one of the banners in my sales script, right? My headline would now say something like, hey, are you trying red ocean vehicle and sick of how you can't do it too? Who does that call out? Somebody who's a diehard. Somebody's not a diehard. Somebody who's not somebody who's already successful. It calls out somebody who's hating it, right? And they're like, yeah, I have been using this vehicle and I'm tired that I can't pull it off like everyone else can. Like, oh, that's what it freaking means to join the conversation inside someone's head. That always pissed me off. Like I said, that people would say that. What does that mean? Join the conversation going on inside their head. That's what that means. Okay. How sold are they in their current thing? And then wherever it stops, that's one of the easiest places to pick up in your headlines, in your copywriting, and your script writing, which is what we'll keep doing as we move forward. Yeah. All right. Now, sellers, as I am looking at this segment of data now, the thing that I'm starting to look at over on the sellers, the actual seller side, is I want to start looking to see. People usually think that funnel hacking is just looking at pages, right? And it's not. Funnel hacking is not just looking at pages. Funnel hacking is not just like going around and like, it isn't. Funnel hacking at its core is looking at another person's sales message and offer. So this is where we first start introducing sales message and offer design. Okay, sales message and offer design. Let me see if we can move this just a little bit more. I got notes over there. Okay. This is where we start looking at the person's sales message and offer. So I'm going to just draw another line right here. Now, there are 4 things that fit inside what I call true funnel hacking. There's a lot of elements behind it. But the first thing I'm going to go start looking at is I'm going to start looking at the message that people are making their sales with. Okay. This is one of the major reasons why you don't need the offer yet in order to start making money. We'll start talking about that a little later. It's definitely the masterclass though. I'm definitely going deep with this. Hopefully it's all right. Okay. So there's 4 things that make up a real funnel hack. The first thing I'm going to go look at, like I said, is their sales message. I understand that the offer is not why someone buys. All the offer does is it fulfills on the promises that your sales message made. Okay, the sales message is why somebody buys. That's what causes and invokes the desire to purchase. That's what causes the buying emotions. And then once they've had those emotions, you open up the gap in their mind. You open a gap and you make them realize like, oh my gosh, things are not as I thought they were. and they have these cool realizations, right? Oh, and if you don't swoop in to make the sale, somebody else is going to, because you've already caused the gap in their head. Now they see the world differently. Okay. So understand that that's why I start with the sales message, not the offer. What is it that their sales message is promising? Okay. Now I'm going to go in and I'm going to start looking to see as well. Number 2, the offer. The offer itself. Included in this is price. Now, one of the biggest questions you guys all asked about, and we're going to talk about it more in depth, I think on the 6th session on Friday. But one of the things that you guys all asked about was like, how do I price the thing that I'm going to sell? Okay, well, this is where I start doing my homework for that and understand that. So I'm not just looking at the price itself, though. I'm looking to see what it is, right? And how are they fulfilling on the message that their sales message promised? Okay, how are they actually fulfilling on that? Now, I also am going to, number 3 is this. Number 3 is I'm going to look at the delivery of the sales message. I'm going to look at the delivery of the sales message. Back when, so the internet was available in 1991, right? Well, before that, there was all these hardcore old school direct response marketers that were mailing their sales letter to people's mailboxes. So they're mailing the sales letter. They're mailing it. There's all these people mailing. Well, what's interesting is you can, if you look to see what kind of things that were happening, is a lot of these guys that knew that their sales letters, when they shipped them to actual mailboxes, what they would do is they wouldn't change the sales message. They wouldn't change the offer, but they changed the delivery of the sales message. And it brought in a whole huge influx of customers for them. Okay, so this is important because your red ocean might like to be sold in some way. Stephen, I don't like webinars. Or Stephen, I don't like this. Stephen, I don't like listening to podcasts or whatever, right? There's some modality that they like to consume the sales message with, whatever that medium is. Figure out what that is. And it becomes one of the easiest maps for you. Like a lot of times people ask me like, Stephen, what platform should I publish on? That's one of the ways to figure that out. Okay. What platform should I be publishing on? Well, what platforms do they already consume on? Do that. Okay. There's a bunch of other stuff that goes into that. But like at the core, that's really easy to figure it out that way. All right. Now, the next thing I'm going to go and I'm going to figure out, number 4 here, is the delivery of the offer. Okay, the delivery of the offer. Now, the reason we look at this is because we're looking to see not just what the offer is, and like it says in there, not also just how they deliver it. I'm looking to see what they're doing in their business to fulfill, right? Maybe like we hung out at, we went to Jeff Walker's event about a week ago and 2 weeks ago, something like that. Went to Jeff Walker's event. The reason why I went over there is literally to look at this. I wanted to see what his delivery of a sales message was, and I want to see what his delivery of his offer was. How is he fulfilling on the things that he's selling his people, and how is he selling, right? How is he giving the sales message to them to consume that? You see, the sales message is a thing that takes and reinstalls beliefs. That's why it's the opposite side. That's why I tend to, like, this data is the first stage, and then this next data is the next stage. Okay, that's why I do it that way. So while I'm collecting beliefs from all the buyers, I'm also looking to see what things in the sales message installed those beliefs. Hopefully that tied some dots, connected some dots there. Okay, I'm looking to see what in the sales. Oh, that's where they're installing these beliefs. Oh, that's how they overcame these internal and external beliefs and objections that people were experiencing before they bought. Okay, so I'm looking to see inside of each one of these things how it's all playing out. So, so the delivery of the sales message, delivery of the offer, and anyway. Oops. And specifically inside there, I'm looking to see what structures in their company and systems in their company they've put in place to deliver and hand off the things that they said they would. Not just what it is, how are they doing it, right? So it's one more deeper level in. So now I'm essentially business hacking at that point. That's why that last part is in there. Alrighty. Next one here. All right. Now this next one is one of the coolest ones. This is also one of those places that dramatically fuels the sales message for you. You don't need to be a sales message professional writer when you actually check this out. Okay, watch this. Okay, let's see. Let's go. All right. Okay. Now you have to understand that how many guys have bought like a business book and it was like the only business book you've ever bought? Like nobody's ever done that. How many guys have ever purchased something and then I actually, it's a perfect example. How many guys have bought a book and then afterwards you bought the audio book for it? So many of us have done that. And the reason I bring this up is that it is highly unlikely. It's super, super, super unlikely that your dream customer, I'm saying the dream scenario, right? The dream customer. It is so unlikely that you are the first solution that they've ever tried to purchase in effort to get health or wealth or relationships, right? It's so unlikely that this red ocean is also the first time they've ever tried to buy something in order to get that outcome, right? Whatever that outcome is. This is key to understand. I call them ghost oceans. And what I do is I like to look backwards and I like to see, okay, for my dream customer, this person that's starting to take shape in my mind and this person that's starting to take a form and I've even gone as far as like giving them names, and I found pictures of them on Google and printed it out. I did that a lot in college actually, and give them names. I'm like, these people represent my avatar. Okay, what's interesting is when you understand that they have been in pursuit of the thing that you're selling and telling them they can get, they've been in pursuit of that most likely far more than you being the first, second, or third time, right? They've been in pursuit of that a long time. Okay, this is important to understand because what I'd like to do is I like to look at what I call kind of the ghost oceans or the ghost markets. It's the oceans that they've already tried. Okay, so there's what I look at in this particular phase here is what it's called the customer origin story and the customer journey. Okay, now the customer journey, let's look at this. So I call it CJ. I go CJ, customer journey. It's CJCO. Okay. And then MJMO. MJMO. Okay. So a journey, what I like to look inside here is what have they already been trying? What are the products that they've already gone through and they're trying to they've already been buying things. So let me just write this here. Now there's two major benefits. What have they already tried? Okay, what have they already tried? There's two major benefits to understanding the answer to that question. The first is that in your sales message, it's easy to say things like, hey, are you tired of having tried this, that? They're like, yes, I've tried all those things. Like, well, of course you haven't had success yet because you haven't had this new thing, right? And you have to understand, like, it's very, very powerful inside of a sales message to say that. Like, if you're like me, you've already done X, Y, and Z. They're like, oh my gosh, me too, and I hate it. I thought it was real estate, or I thought it was this, or health. I thought it was the Atkins diet, or I thought it was, whatever it is. You already tried this, and they're like, yeah, right. This is another way to join that conversation inside the customer's head as they're consuming your sales message. Okay. Excuse me. The second major benefit of understanding the answer to what have they already tried is that it protects you from creating another red ocean that you think is a blue. Okay. By understanding the journey that they've been on, the customer journey, sometimes what I've noticed happens is people will create a product and they think what they're creating is the next brick at the end of the yellow brick road. But really, it's like 3 bricks back. Someone already tried that and everyone hated it. You see what I'm saying? Because I understand where they've been, I'm no longer prone to creating something that they tried like 4 steps ago. And then you tote it around like it's a new opportunity. They're like, that's not a new opportunity. I've already tried that. Okay. That's one of the major reasons why you need to understand that part of it and why it's such a big deal when you do. Because they're like, oh man, yeah, it lets you call those things out, but it's actually hedging risk on your side. Okay. Then when it comes to customer origin story is actually different than customer journey. Customer origin story asks specifically, why do they care? Right? Somewhere in there, they had these desires. They have their own individual backstory. Why do they care? What's keeping them moving on their journey? What is the thing why are they willing to try another thing for their health? Why are they willing to try the next thing or whatever it is that you're selling, relationships, wealth? What is it? They have some why. Okay, the origin story typically answers their why. The customer journey typically, that's what answers the what have you already been trying. Okay, so this is the why do you care phase. All right. Can you guys read that? All right, cool, thanks. All right, good. I got chicken scratch kind of, for writing here. Anyway. Okay, so that's what I'm understanding more also about all the buyers. The sellers is actually the exact same thing. Right? And this is very key because most of the time what people do is when they're coming down from the top down and they're trying to gather this kind of data and they start funnel hacking, they'll go through and they'll understand who the Red Ocean category king is because it's pretty easy to find them. They think that's funnel hacking. Or they go in and they'll hack a funnel. They never typically look at any of the vehicle internal external beliefs of the current Red Ocean buyers. But then they will come down here and they'll start gathering some of this data. None of them usually gather this though. Okay, there is a market journey and a market origin story. All right. Again, it's the same kind of benefit and power to it, right? What have you already tried? I'm just going to try it here. Now you think about what I was saying before. If the category king comes in and soaks up the majority of the market share, how on earth, right, did all those other companies who were actually surviving, how are they surviving? That's a powerful question to ask. What is the journey that current companies have gone through in order to actually have survived? So then when you, again, same thing. So when you go and you start trying to sell to these people, you're not like, oh my gosh, let's go try this. And they're like, we've already tried that. That's actually one of the skeletons on our journey. We tried that. It almost killed our company, right? We've already been trying to do that. You're like, oh crap, I didn't know that. Like, you didn't do your homework. Same thing is true with market origin story. Why do the companies care? Right? Understanding the why of the company itself. Why did they get into business? Why are they trying to sell those people? Those are huge, huge advantages to understand that those allow you to take certain elements and lace them into the actual sales message. And you'll see as we keep moving forward too, it's a lot of how I actually go and create my scripts when it comes to like podcast intros, when it comes to like we call it the title Liberty script, or like the banners that I'll kind of wave. I'm like, it's very adjoining a lot of things that I write. So it's like, hey, we are not that. We've tried this. We're already doing this. This is for people who've already been doing X, Y, and Z, right? Journey. This is for people who've already been doing this, but know there's a future. Journey. This is for people who understand that it's even more than what we're going for here, and it's for a future purpose. Origin story, the why. Okay, and I go over and I talk about, does it make sense? A lot of what I write comes fueling from these things. Okay, why are these companies in business? Why do they care so much? I'm like, Steven, you go that deep with it? It's a lot of stuff. That's why I laugh every time someone's like, could you build me a funnel? You have no idea what you're asking me when you say that. I'm not just going to go build a funnel. I got to do this, right? I got to go through all the stuff I'm walking you through right here. And I do. And I'll walk through, and I got 5 whiteboards. When I first was leaving ClickFunnels, it was this kind of stuff that was all over my whiteboards. I'm doing research. I'm like, where's some data? And I'm not trying to like go crazy, crazy, crazy deep, but I am trying to understand as much as I can about those that I'll be selling to, right? And why they should buy from me. And can I defend it? And can I actually be a true blue, or am I a pseudo blue, right? That's not blue. We've already been trying that. Oh man, you better know the market and customer journey. All right, you got to know the history of each of those things. Anyway, that's why this is such a big deal. All right. Okay. Next one. Some good crap, huh? Hashtag good crap. That is a technical term. Okay, check this out. Hey, this next one here about buyers and sellers is actually it's pretty powerful stuff. And no one think less of me as we walk through this. And this is something that you likely have heard before, because it's kind of become one of my doctrinal shticks. Much like the fake bookstore and other things like that. This has become one of the doctrinal shticks. It's a good book. It's not called A Whole New Mind, although that is a good book by Daniel Pink. It's another one kind of, I think it might be by him. I think it's called Rewiring Your Brain for Happiness. What's fascinating is it goes through and it teaches about a lot of the happy chemicals we feel inside of our bodies. Okay. And so you guys likely have heard a lot of this stuff and understand that this is where a lot of that stuff starts to come from. Now, if I come over here and, okay, let's just look at buyers first again. Okay. So we got dose. Oh, guys, these are the 4 chemicals that cause happy in the brain. I use the acronym DOSE to describe it. Many of you guys have seen this, but at Fun Hacking Live, I was only able to teach it from the standpoint of the buyer, not the seller also. So I'm excited to show you this as well. Some of the other data points that I'll go grab, you have to understand that marketers are drug dealers, meaning we're very good at leveraging those chemicals inside someone's head. Don't feel weird as I say that, okay? We all are good at that. We all go in. Like I said, marketers are drug dealers, all right? One of my favorite case studies ever is actually of JCPenney. And JCPenney was looking at Apple and their Genius Bar and the Apple Store. And they said, hey, I really like the Genius Bar. I really like the Apple Store. They said, hey, Apple, who is it that you hired to do that? They went and they hired the guy who built all of the Apple stores and said, why don't you come do that same thing over here for JCPenney? JCPenney said, do whatever you want to. You kind of have full creative license here and just do the same kind of thing that you did. Well, what happened was he came in and what was currently happening was JCPenney had all these mailers. They had these stores. They had all this cool stuff. What was interesting is they... It was not good. It's not a good outcome. What happened was JCPenney went and they had this guy go and create these stores, right? And he goes and he guts the stores. And now the stores look like Apple. And he goes and he guts their current marketing efforts. And he starts calling out the customer. And he starts calling out the company even. And he starts making statements publicly like, hey, we know that you're a smart consumer. We're not going to keep doing this thing where we give you a mailer to take $40 off of something that was going to be $10 anyway. And so on our side, what we'll do is instead of pricing it at $50 and giving you a $40 coupon, it's like the Kohl's model, right? Like everyone knows that model. That's what they do, right? And we all know that, right? But they got really, really expensive stuff. And then they send out all these mailers to get you to come in. You saved $500 today. Like, no, I spent $15 on a pair of socks. Like what? Right? And it's pretty inflated. It's kind of all over the place, but like, that's what they do. That's their model. Right. And so what this guy was doing is he called that out and he said, we know you're a smart consumer. We're not going to do that anymore. We're not going to go out. We're not going to, I think he even said, we're not going to belittle your education or something like that. We're not going to insult your intelligence. It's a fascinating case study. One of my favorites ever. And what was interesting is he stopped all mailers in this regional area where they were testing it. And he stopped all the mailers and he took everything down and priced it. And he's like, we're not even going to do the $9.97 thing. We're not going to do $9.95. You guys know it's $10, right? It's $10. Let's just call it what it is. No more $9.97, $10, right? So there's no more mailers. There's no more price drops. There's no more $9.97s. There's no more. The actual store itself looked like an Apple store. It no longer looked like JCPenney. And their stock price plummeted in like a single quarter. Like it hurt them so bad. They fired the guy. They got rid of it. They put everything back where it was. And all of a sudden, whoo, it came back up. And what's fascinating about that whole thing is you look at it and you start realizing that dude took the fun out of buying. So as I teach this to you and as I say this, as I share it, more often than not, what ends up happening was when I walk through this with people, they get self-conscious. And they're like, well, I don't want to be doing that to people's brains. They already want it. Okay, they want it. That's why I'm teaching you this. Don't take the fun out of buying now that you just know what the happy drugs are. You've been feeling them all along. I've been using them here. The fact that you're live, right? The fact that you're on with me doing this, it's massive, right? I'm going to teach you probably where that laces in. All right, so I'm going to teach you guys what these 4 happy drugs are, both from the buyers and how they like to experience them. But I'm also going to teach you how to administer them as a seller. Okay, and don't get weird on me. All right, don't freak out on me. What I'm doing here is I'm looking at their current addictions. Okay, and I don't mean like massive, nasty drug addictions or stuff that's I'm talking about just addictions in their brain. Okay, really fascinating interview. You guys likely saw it. I believe it was Mark Zuckerberg. He was talking to, crap, who's he talking to? It was like the Senate, something like that. Anyway, they were asking him how he created all this stuff. And he straight up told them, hey, how I've created this is I went and I hired a bunch of addiction specialists, and we have laced as much addiction into Facebook as we possibly can. Statistically speaking now, people check their phones 73 times a day, whether or not there's a notification. Okay. We are addicted to a lot of the stuff, right? And please understand, I'm not here to have the moral argument. I'm not here to have an ethics argument over that. What I am here to tell you is that you can find out what people are currently addicted to, and in a positive way, use what I'm about to show you to actually go and make you addictive in your blue ocean, right? If you truly are good, if you actually are good, if you know your product's awesome, if you can deliver, then why shouldn't they have it? Okay, that's what I think. That's why we're doing this. So anyway, I think you should have this. All right, so the first drug here, D, stands for dopamine. Dopamine is the chemical of distraction. Okay, what's interesting about the chemical of distraction, okay, what's interesting about the chemical of distraction, it's actually the easiest to get. It's the one that we seek the most frequent. It's easy to get. We get it anytime. Have you guys ever had like your phone phantom vibrate? There's actually articles on that now, right? Where you don't even have your phone in your pocket and you'll feel like it vibrated. It's called a phantom vibrate now. And right, that's you seeking a little dopamine hit, right? I'm not trying to freak anybody out, but this is real stuff. Okay. So understand that. So dopamine is the easiest one to get. The easiest way to administer it is through distraction. And the easiest one that people consume it with is by distraction. Okay. When you are about to go do some task that you know is a little bit challenging and you're like, let's go do this over here. What you're seeking is a dopamine hit. You want to have the feel goods in another area of your life without doing what you're about to go do. Okay. So it's the chemical of distraction. The next one is oxytocin. Oxytocin is the chemical of connection. Okay. What's interesting about the chemical of connection, the chemical of connection is actually the one that we seek the most. It's the one that we will give up our beliefs, our relationships, our religion. We will give up our ethics, our morals in order to get. Okay. So while dopamine is the easiest to get, oxytocin is the one that we want the most. And if we don't have oxytocin in our lives, we will do crazy stuff in order to get a sense and a chemical boost of oxytocin and get, even if it's fake connection. Okay. You gotta be careful with this stuff. Okay. But we really, really, really want oxytocin. S stands for serotonin, and serotonin is the chemical of status. I know the book is on the shelf over there. I tell you some of the books that a lot of this comes from, but anyway, it's true. Anyway. This is the chemical of status. Okay, so what's interesting about Facebook is distraction and status are literally weaved into it, right? Anytime anyone clicks yes, or I like this, or this is awesome, or any kind of reaction in general, it gives us a sense of status. And they're literally giving us a serotonin hit when we go and we get a little, oh, I am awesome. Look at me. Okay, when you get that, when you have that, that's a serotonin boost. Anyway, that's what it is. Okay. Any kind of like you, me, and it's not out of a negative thing either. Sometimes it's status comparing us to ourselves. Am I really awesome? Am I really, right? It's any kind of validation that we might get. It's a sense of huge serotonin boost. Okay. Anyway, E stands for endorphins. What's interesting about endorphins, it is the chemical of work reward. We have to have put energy into something in order to get endorphins back out. Yeah, so let's put effort. So what's fascinating about endorphins can be one of the hardest ones to administer to people who are buying from you. You will feel endorphins. Like if any of you guys are like hyper runners out there or anything like that, hyper runners, right? I mean, a lot of you guys know, like even when I was in the Army and I would go run and we do massive runs and stuff like that, the first half mile sucks, right? That's like it's painful. It's terrible. And then as you're running, right, what happens usually around like a mile? Like people even call it that, right? And you start getting that runner's high. That's endorphins. You have to have worked in order to actually reap that chemical back out. All right, so that's what that is. Now let's look over here at the seller side, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys some very simple ways to administer those kinds of things. Okay. I thought we were going to learn offers. It all weaves into good offers. Okay. One of the easiest ways to deliver dopamine to an audience is through content and interruptions. That's why it's kind of funny when I often get the question, Stephen, how much emailing is too much emailing? And I'm like, I don't know if you can, right? I know guys that email 7 times a day. That's like what they do. That's insane in my opinion, but it works because of that. It's dopamine. Okay. Oxytocin, one of the easiest ways that we feel a sense of oxytocin in our life is through the act of buying. Okay. Or one-on-one time with who we would consider to be our guru, at least in this space, or one-on-one time with, right, you're going to get a massive oxytocin hit if you get to go meet like a celebrity you've always liked. If you get to go, right, it's a huge oxytocin hit. The worst thing that celebrity could ever go do is push you away. The moment they start doing that, they start killing off that oxytocin there. Okay. Connection and buying. Okay. Specifically. Buying / like the semblance of personal time. Doesn't actually need to be personal time, but the semblance of it. Anyway, one of the easiest ways to cause serotonin inside somebody, status, is through an identity shift or elevation. Okay, elevating somebody / identity. All right, an identity shift is massive. Now these shirts, I mean, these are shirts we're going to be making available for everybody very soon here. We bought capitalismswag.com and literally that's where I'm going to be. My little swag store is going to be. We're going to be selling stuff like this, right? And you see people who wear these shirts all over the place. It's my capitalist pig shirt, baby, right? This is what I call myself. It's my crew. My crew's my capitalist pigs. And yeah, I tried to buy oink.com. That was taken. But anyway, but that's why. There's a sense of identity with that. Suddenly I have courage to go do things in my life. I have courage to go behave and do things that might seem scary to me because I'm wearing Steve Larson's shirt. And I felt the same way when I would wear the Funnel Hacker shirt that I got from ClickFunnels. Really fascinating. We went and we found out that a bunch of people have ClickFunnels accounts that have never logged in and they won't get rid of their account when we bring it up to them because they like the shirt. They literally keep the $97 a month thing because they like the shirt. They feel that they are a funnel hacker. Okay, there's power in clothing one of your people in an identity. Okay, that's what that is. That gives them a huge sense of serotonin, massive status. I mean, even when I'm walking around, right? It's funny. Colton and I will walk through airports or whatever, and we will get full out scowls. In fact, there was a lady it was one of the, I've never audibly heard such a scowl in my entire life than this airport, than this, oh my gosh, stewardess. And she walked up and she saw Colton wearing the shirt, audible scowl. Guess what we did? Man, we made a freaking post about it. Guess what everyone else did? Yeah, right? Yeah, F them, stick it to the man, right? And that's kind of what that brings on, right? It's this banner. It's who we are, right? It's this whole identity thing that people will go and say, like, this is who I am, and I don't apologize for it. And when you can fuel that, and you are who they're wearing, I'm not saying it has to be a T-shirt, right? But think about that. Harley Davidson has got this oozing from every pore in that entire company, right? They don't even need to explain themselves. That's part of it, right? Don't talk to me. Don't, you know what I mean? That Harley, I love Harley. I can't wait. I really want to get a Harley. It's super bad. But it's oozing from them. It's oozing from them, right? There's so many, like this same reason people cheer for their football team, even if they've been losing, right? It's the status thing. It's identity. This is very important. It's very powerful to understand. That is one of the easiest ones, serotonin, identity shift, right? I am a blank and being able to fill in the blank. It is one of the easiest ways to increase your sales. It is one of the easiest ways to increase your success rate and your stick rate. It is one of the easiest ways for you to go and actually cause an upsell. Right? A lot of times when big guys will go and they'll introduce a new program or they'll add another tier or they'll add a higher end layer. What they do is on top of that, they also give them a new identity. Okay, for those of you guys who came to Funnel Hacking Live, you saw Russell do this. Okay, you guys remember those watches? Mine's over there. I forgot to put it on. You guys remember those watches, the 2 Comma Club watches that are like bigger than my face? I got big face, right? You guys remember that? That's what that was. I mean, and he puts them on stage and everyone holds their watch up like this to the rest of the audience. That's huge. That's huge. That's a big deal. Okay. Anyway, so the more you can brand your people based on the cause that your blue ocean signifies, that's huge. And anyway, I can keep ranting about that, but that one that's a big deal to understand that one. One of the easiest ways to cause endorphins, Stu McLaren is one of my favorite people on this planet. They're the ones that they started the charity, the foundation, the Village Impact, and they go build schools inside villages, and it's pretty awesome. It's cool stuff. And anyway, he runs a lot of members areas. And what's cool about Stu McLaren is that I had a chance to get close to a lot of these. Maybe not like personally, right? But I'd be in the room while Russell was talking with them, and I'd be listening, obviously, taking notes. Oh my gosh, look what they're doing, right? So I know I had a bit of a unique scenario there. Stu will make like $2, $3, $4, $5, $7 million a year on these membership sites that he spends like 2 weeks a year creating. Okay, it's like a huge deal. It's pretty fascinating what he does with that, and he showed us this whole process and such. It's really interesting, and what's cool about it is he taught us that the biggest reason people refund is because of overwhelm. Not that you didn't deliver enough. It's straight up overwhelm. So what I'm going to show you right here is you not only administer endorphins to them, you also solve one of the largest reasons for refunds. Not that you're not delivering, it's that you delivered too much. Okay. So what we do is we like to create a little check the box kind of scenario. Whenever we're rolling out a program, and I actually do this personally now as well, I never just designed the funnel. I also designed the fulfillment of the funnel at the same time. Okay. And this is part of that reason. I want to be able to go and I want to create a success path, right? A setup guide, a step-by-step guide on how to actually pull off whatever it is they just bought, right? I just got one of these Aura rings. They've been awesome. I've learned so much about myself and my sleep and how much I get no REM. I get like 4 minutes of REM sleep a night. I don't know why. It's crazy. But it's fascinating. This ring, what I loved was the setup guide. There were no words. They were pictures. And the pictures were so clear. I was up and running on this bad boy in like 2 minutes. And I didn't have to read anything. It was like, dude, so I picked it up and I flipped the page, put it on, flip the page, turn on the phone, flip the page, turn on Bluetooth, flip the page, you're ready. And I was like, oh my gosh, that was it. It was, but I actually kept it for that reason. I was like, that's a huge lesson in setup guides. Okay, but the whole while, I'm getting little tiny endorphin hits. I'm doing things in a check the box fashion that causes me to feel endorphins. I'm moving forward. Okay. So I'm gonna say like setup guides. There are other ways to cause these emotions, guys. There's other ways to do all this stuff. I'm trying to give you an idea of some of the easiest ones off the top that you can use to go cause these in other people and the people that you're buying. Okay. So the reason why we're going through this is because, remember, we're talking about the red ocean here. I want to understand all of this stuff about the red ocean, just the red. So then when I can fill in the blanks on all this stuff, I have an insanely clear roadmap on what I need to go create, and it hedges risk like crazy. Okay. So then I can turn around and I can be like, okay, this is kind of like a blueprint. Let me stamp it on the next piece right here. Anyway. Okay, so there are, I'm trying to give you an example of this, the fact that this is the reality of how it is, right? All of us want to feel dopamine. All of us want to feel oxytocin and serotonin. And I like to go in and give the example of buying eggs. All right, because how many times do you guys go in to buy eggs and you leave with just the eggs? You don't, right? No one does that, right? You don't just go buy eggs and you walk out with just the eggs. What else do you walk with? You're going in, you're getting the eggs, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, bread. Yeah, and you go and you get the bread, right? And you start moving like, oh, I should get some cereal while I'm here. I'm not out, but since I'm out, right? And you justify it. And here's what's fascinating about this process, guys, is that you are actually, they want that, first of all. They want the dopamine hits, right? They want to be able to have some connection. They'll probably go, and if they like a brand over another and they're not, money isn't really a thing for them, meaning it's not like a big hindrance for them, they're probably going to buy the more expensive thing out of status, right? Them moving and actually going and grabbing the stuff in the store, that's their effort. They're going to feel all kinds of feel goods, all kinds of hits throughout the process. The purchase, though, doesn't end at checkout. Okay, purchase ends when they can defend their choice in front of their loved ones or those that they care about. Okay, when people walk up to, you know what I mean? Because this is what happens. You get these amazing hormones that just override the right side of the brain like crazy. Whoosh, right? I can't wait to feel these feel goods. And they know how to get them. So they go and they get them. Dopamine, oxytocin, connection, right? Status, right? Then they go and they actually like setup guides. I'm checking the boxes, right? It's probably half the reason we make all grocery lists is we check it. Any kind of check off thing. Oh, that feels good. Okay, the purchase is not successful and the purchase doesn't end until post-purchase when they can go, because what happens, right? You walk out of the grocery store, you walk out of whatever store you're in. As you're walking out, those hormones begin to burn off. And suddenly, it's not like the left brain takes over, but the logical brain's always been there. And the right brain burns down. And all of a sudden you're like, what did I just buy? Right? How many of you guys have done that? Oh, crap. Right? I didn't need eggs. I've got tons at home. I didn't need this. I didn't need that. Right? And then you are in a very, very tender moment in the journey of the customer at that period. What happens is they need to be able to justify not just to themselves why they bought it. They need to be able to look at other people and say, I'm a smart consumer because of X, Y, and Z. Okay. Yes, I bought all this. Yes. I mean, of course I bought all this. Why haven't you? You see what I'm saying? What you need to be able to do is you need to be able to arm them for the conversation they will be having later on, whether with themselves or with somebody else. And the way to kill buyer's remorse is to go in and literally you're going to pre-arm them with closes in this process. Well, it was buy one, get one free. And someone's like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, and that makes sense. I would do it too. Oh, well, it's half off until tonight. Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. Yeah, I would do that too. Oh, well, this is only live till midnight tonight. Oh, okay. Yeah, I would take time off to listen to this as well. Okay. We all do it. We all do it. And the huge mistake is to think that the purchase ends when the credit card swipes. It doesn't. You have to understand the buying emotions that happen. And first of all, that they want them. Second of all, how to administer, but realize that you're also arming them against buyer's remorse. You're arming them against feeling like an idiot. You're arming them against refunds. You're arming them against them not doing anything with it afterwards, right? You got a really, really cool setup guide afterwards. You got really, really cool onboarding processes. That's just going to go give them more endorphins as they start to do it. That's just going to solidify in their mind why they did it in the first place. Okay. And when you have a lack of awesome testimonials, when you have a lack of awesome, we have like too high of a refund rate, a lot of times it's because you don't have the setup guide, right? Serve the customer by understanding that these are the things that are going on for them already, whether or not you're trying to do it. They're already getting them. They already want them. They're already consuming this stuff. Okay, so when you start looking to see at the red ocean, I'm looking to see how they like getting their feel goods, and I'm looking to see how the current buyers are administering the feel goods. What kind of content are they delivering? Okay, what kind of purchasing feel goods are they giving them? Do they have access to gurus? What are they doing for the sense of connection? Maybe they have really cool communities, right? Maybe that's how they get their oxytocin. Status. Maybe people are going in and the status that they're getting is, maybe they are doing the clothing with the t-shirt thing. Maybe they all have the same bumper sticker that they ship out to all their customers. Maybe they get, right, there's a lot. There's a company, I can't remember, it's in the inner circle. They have a company called Carrot, and they literally ship a stuffed carrot to their customers, and the customers love it. They love it. It's crazy how much engagement that created for them on such an unexpected gift after purchase, right? Little tiny unexpected thing. Oh, distraction, feel good status. Okay. They want that. And so when I'm looking to seeing it, what's the setup guide? What's the onboarding processes? Okay. And some of this stuff, you're going to get the same kind of answers throughout. I'm just trying to pull them out of you, right? Like delivery of the offer, that very much could be similar to setup guide. That's how they delivered the offer, right? But in some cases it's not. So that's why there's sometimes some similarities throughout it. Just understand that is what I call red ocean analytics. Inside there's definitely pricing. I'm going to go model to see what the current price structure is. There's more besides this now, but it's a lot of stuff, and we've been going for an hour and a half. So anyway, that's what I look for. And what's cool is that once I understand these things, especially right here, I know what they like to buy and how they like to receive after they bought it. Maybe they like it shipped in the mail. Maybe they just want digital access, right? Delivery of the offer. Maybe they want phone calls. Maybe that whatever it is, that however they like to purchase, they like to be sold, the current beliefs that are giving them there. I'm only gathering this data from the diehard as much as possible because they're the ones that are going to start representing my avatar, my Dream 100. Or sorry, my dream customer. I'm going to start looking over here at the Red Ocean Category King. I'm going to start looking inside to see what the C-level influencers are for that Dream 100, like I was talking about, okay? I'm going to see the Red Ocean Category King, not just for hacking purposes, but all the little micro people, right? These guys are clearly A-level influencers, whoever the Red Ocean Category King is. But everybody else underneath, though, that could be my C-level influencers. That could be my, right? And these are just all things that you start grabbing and pulling together. Then you're like, crap, this has been, okay, now I can go start thinking about an offer. Now I can go start thinking about, okay. So there's a few more things we're going to go and we're going to grab here, but let me pause real fast. We're at 125. Sweet. Okay. I'm going to come over here to the chat and grab some water and let's see what we got going on here. Let me grab water real quick, just a second. We will rifle through this. Okay. Nice. Marilyn, you can watch it again. Last session, connected some dots that my 3 times read Expert Secrets did not. Great companion training to Expert Secrets book. Because I've been the coach for it for thousands of people. That's awesome. That's a good shirt. I am not the funnel. Yeah. Yeah, it's awesome stuff right there. Ha! All right. Willing, able with the dream offer resonates, making perfect sense. Don't sell the diehards unless you want to bang your head against a brick wall for no reason or positive result. So true. I hate selling diehards. I don't sell diehards. I don't want to sell diehards. They're a pain in the butt. What's an audible? Great question, Nicole. Meaning it's like a deep dive. It's like an audit. I should have said audit. Sometimes we call them audibles. No, we don't. We'll call them applaudibbles. That's what it is. Dave Lindbaum. All right. Harsha said, why shouldn't I sell to successful people? I'm confused. Meaning they're successful, meaning they in their mind, they're justifying, they're not in a place of pain. They have enough success with whatever it is that they bought to justify continue using it. It's just hard because you have to start entering more of like, hey, here's the actual problem kind of conversation. And I don't like doing that. I want them to already know I have a problem. And then I'm like, hey, I got an answer for you. I already know where you've been and you just haven't tried this piece yet. They're like, oh, finally. It's nice because I just don't have to go create the product or create the problem. Didn't understand the traffic thing for session. Got it this time. Much better explanation this time. Sweet. Oh, cool. Thanks, Blenda. Why target someone that you will take a ton more effort to sell when you can target a hot customer who hate what they're currently using? So true. That changed the game for me. Let's see. Makes sense. Hi, Steven. I've gained huge value from this 2 minutes already. Nice. This is going to be recording this for those who get in late. Yeah, till midnight, definitely. We'll make sure both of these are posted and live. This is a multiple listen portion of the masterclass. Yeah, it usually is. Exactly. CEO couple. Yeah, it usually is. Thanks, guys. Thank you. So many golden nuggets all the time. I did the audiobook. Many of both hard copy, audio preferred. It's so true. Ghost Oceans. Yeah. I love the audiobook first and the hard copy. It's funny. Yeah. Don't we all have our little thing of that? What is CO? Oh, sorry, Belinda. So CO stands for customer origin story. And this is customer journey. It's just going to be hard for me to write that. This is more condensed than I thought it'd be. Sorry. And then market journey, market origin story. Oh, you guys all answered it. Thank you. Let's help each other out here. Other than Googling this for this information, how do we find this information about the customer journey and the market journey? I don't know. This is honestly stuff that I've just started compiling as I've done this. I mean, I immerse. This is all I do. This is all I do. So I don't know. Market journey gauges how other sellers beyond the category kings have survived. Market journey gauges how other sellers beyond the category king have survived. Yes, Spectrum Education Consultants. Yes. So what you're doing inside the market journey, thanks for asking these questions. These help me understand where what I taught may not be as clear. So I appreciate that. Yeah. So the market journey, what's interesting is like you're looking to see, for example, actually back to the iPhone. This might be good examples here. Somebody comes along and they're like, I got this awesome thing. And you're like, I'm pumped about it. What is it? And it's like this cool thing you can hold, and it's a touch screen mixed with a computer, mixed with a phone, mixed with the internet, mixed with Facebook, mixed with your email. Like, whoa, that's crazy. And you go and you pick it up, and it's the equivalent tech as what the iPhone 1 was. Okay. Right. That market has had a journey. The products inside of the products inside of that market have been evolving. So you're not just looking to see what companies have been doing to survive. You're also looking to see what companies have done historically and what they've evolved past. There's a big concept, actually. Yeah, no, I'll just riff on it real quick here, but it's good for me to write this down here. So there is an ebook I wrote in college that I never published that I should. But it went heavily through the concept of what I call a market Big Bang theory versus a market evolution, right? Or a product Big Bang theory versus product evolution. Most of what I was being taught in college and most of the things that people teach out there have to do with coming up with something that's so brand new, so prolific. And they're right, but it's coming from their own head. And that's like a major issue, right? I can't actually make something that's successful that comes from my own head because I don't represent my market. I'm not the one buying it. So I need to be able to identify who they are, what the market is, who they are inside of it. And now coming up soon, right? A lot of what tomorrow is, I'm going to show you guys how to start actually crafting a sales message with it. And then finally we'll go into offer templates and we'll go into funnels that serve up those offers well. And that's probably going to be it. But what's interesting is like, product Big Bang theory, this concept of something that's brand new, it just doesn't happen. Everything is kind of an evolution on the last thing, right? But it can't be better. It's still got to be different. And so we're going to talk about that a little bit moving forward. And maybe that'll clarify it a little bit. There's a specific strategy where you can figure this out really, really well. And we'll as we move forward, we'll definitely jump into this. Just take a note of it so you make sure you get that. Okay. Okay. See, epic shirt. You guys like the shirt? That's really clicks for me. I've been thinking about the intro, outro, how to create the section. Why have you tried? Why do you create this golden? Hey, thanks so much. Thank you. Amazeballs. Thanks. Hashtag good crap. That's again, technical term there. Spencer is still growing strong a few hours ago and then came back. Yeah. It's like confusing what the market origin story gauges. What the market origin story gauges is like, I mean, you think about like where the red ocean is that you're coming out of. It was once blue also. And so what you're looking at when it comes to market origin story, you're looking to see why did that market come about in the first place? What was it trying to solve? And then the market journey is how has it evolved since it actually was created? Make sense? This subtle, but very important. It's like two different sections of the story. One is the origin. How did it originally come about? And then the journey is how has it evolved and proved itself? Right? If you really did move from customer collection to creation, that's a big deal, right? What has the journey been that you've been able to pull that off? Oh, geez, right? So you just want to make sure you understand a few of those pieces sometimes so that you can make sure you're not creating something that's actually a step backwards when you think it's a step forwards. And everyone else is like, that's already existed. That's already been around. Right. Let's see. Cool. Just taking a few notes here, making sure that we all got this down here. Sweet. Okay. Let's see. My name is Jeffrey. Thanks for your video today. This is just mind-blowing info. Hey, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Good crap. I'm taking many pages of notes too. Awesome, guys. If you give me a little thumbs up, that would be helpful. Tell YouTube that I'm actually worth it. It'd be great. I've been told to find my market, find my avatar, but no one has ever explained in depth how to figure it out. Mic drop. Thanks, Evelyn. Yay, drugs. That's funny, CJ. I ran out of paper already. Steve, you need to create your reading list. All these books. Would you love to have a full list? It could be one of your bonuses. I think it's a great idea, Belinda. I have so many books. I just go on these buying sprees and we'll get 50 more books. We're in the middle of receiving said 50 books. Let's see. Okay, Steve, you need... Oh, yeah, here we go. They didn't catch the author's name of the book. Oh, yeah, it's Daniel Pink's book.
A Whole New Mind.
Is it A Whole New Mind? Yeah, that's a good book. It teaches... Oh, sweet. Okay, cool. Yeah, Whole New Mind. It's good stuff. It's crucial to know so you can understand where the market has come from, the way you aren't coming up with a product that has already failed and tried in the past. Yeah, exactly. 100%. Whole New Mind. Oh, there it is. Sweet. No more buyer's experience. Love it. Feel happy drugs. Yeah. Nice. Totally had to happen. I understand why I can't concentrate on more than an hour. Scary good stuff being taught. Freaking light bulb. It's good. Thanks, Mark. Runner's high. Get my happy drug. Also the 20th mile. What's the dopamine one again? Dopamine is distraction. Hey, thanks for helping answer each other's questions because, you guys, you've seen, I just kind of keep going for about an hour or two. So I appreciate it. Would love to know this distraction. That was your best explanation on endorphins ever yet. Oh, appreciate it. Thanks, Mason. You all got what you need to get off so I can use this for myself. Daniel, you're awesome. Mason said, guys, join OfferLab if you can. It's the greatest program on earth and it's changed my life drastically, or don't if you hate money. Mason, thanks for the plug. Hey, if you guys like this kind of stuff, that's what OfferLab is. If you guys go to myofferlab.com and apply, it's not cheap. But what it is it will help you walk through all this. I haven't found anyone who's brought all this stuff together. We're on session 2, all right? And I can tell there's other areas I need to be pulling into. Anyway, would love to have you guys in. myofferlab.com. Next one is it's a live event. And the first day, I help you guys go through this stuff. It comes with a year program, coaching program with myself and some of my main coaches. The first day, we go through this stuff. The second day is campaign strategy, which there's no way I'm going to be able to get into that here. But how to actually take your thing to market. And then we also get heavily into content machines. Like I'm publishing like crazy. An episode went out while I was on here. How is that all happening? And then the third day is asset day. And what we do is we actually put you in a limo and we drive you around to all the who's who locally here in Boise that I use, that many of Russell and ClickFunnels people use, right? To build the assets that you need to launch your core offer, right? Regardless of what you're selling. We got people from demo industry. We got people who are selling, like Mason was selling the chocolate bars. It's all over the place. We get people in the financial area. We just went over to Roger Love's in Hollywood. That was really cool. But the OfferLab program's it's awesome. It's pretty aggressive. Let's see. They want to belong. Oh, wow. I love it. Like Army uniforms. Yeah, exactly. Right. Army uniforms, definitely. Yeah, they're good addictions. Exactly. I mean, it looks like I wear McCaffrey's picture too. Nice. It's Oxytocin. Crap. It just reloaded real fast. Okay. Send me the link, Colton. Oh, cool. It's awesome. Yeah, I'd love to have you guys. Thanks so much for the plug there. Appreciate that. It's oxytocin when you feel the identity shift. Yes, and the best sales messages cause an identity shift. It's built inside of the sales message. Okay, that's important to understand. So while it's the thing that most frequently causes, right, a diehard to stick, it's also a new identity. It's also one of the reasons why somebody will go to a new blue. It's fast. There's like if they feel like they can't embody the identity of the person who represents the red ocean, they'll seek a new identity. So it's interesting because while identity is the thing that's keeping them there, it's also what leads and guides a lot of times these new people who, the type ones, they hate it. They can't stand that they are not getting it. I can't embody a funnel hacker because I still haven't built a funnel, Steven, right? And that's what they'd be feeling. So then they go off and they look in other places. And a lot of times that's why people will leave. And it wasn't that it couldn't work for them. It's an identity thing. Definitely. My eggs always cost $100. Yeah, mine too. My eggs always seem to cost like $100, $200 at Walmart. Let's see. Marketers are drug dealers. Anyone have a summary or notes? Holy crap, this goes deep. It does. We are not done. Okay. We just barely have the pickings to actually go create it. We didn't talk about freaking offers yet. Come to OfferMind, all right? I didn't catch what you were modeling from the diehards in your avatar. What you are modeling from the diehards in your avatar. I'm actually not modeling anything. What I'm doing is I'm identifying who they are and kind of like that person inside of the red ocean here. So I make sure that my sales messages and all the data I collect doesn't represent a diehard. I want my data and all the things I collect to represent and come from the type ones, the people that hate it. Okay. You guys have to understand this. Like, data source matters. Data source matters so much. And it's going to be one of the things that will differentiate a lot of the offer templates that I've created. I want to read your book so badly. Hey, appreciate that. It's in the making. I don't know when it'll go out, but it's in the making though. Is it possible to go through more ways to serve the dose for different industries like e-commerce? Yeah. Like you just understand, like there's a lot of ways to do it. It's not that it's not like these are the only ways to do that. I'm just trying to give you guys examples of how you could serve up distraction, how you could serve up connection and status and effort, reward. How do you create great products? We'll talk about that as we move forward here. You're getting cheese, ham, and bacon and making an omelet. Yeah, I love it. And he goes, did you say that my dream customer is the diehard? No. My dream customer is this. My dream customer is somebody who is currently using the red ocean vehicle but hates it. So they're one step past hot traffic. And then they don't get hung up on internal beliefs. They also don't get hung up on external. What they are seeking is a new vehicle. My dream customer has already tried a lot of stuff. They've already tried lots and lots and lots of stuff. They clearly understand the journey, but they're still in pain. They are hungry. That's why they're so easy to sell. And then my dream customer also consumes. They're consumers, right? They consume content. They consume. They do have connection. They have enough love and status in themselves to keep seeking a new offer. Yeah. So anyways, thanks for bringing that up. So to clarify, all this stuff, I'm trying to find as much of it that represents this person, the type 1. If I get it from the type 3, the diehard, like, it's just, ugh. Are there particular drugs do you push more than others? Not really. I publish a lot, guys. I'm a content beast, and it's for that reason. Sri said there's no calculated the wrong time. I missed the part 2. There's no replay, right? There is a replay. Both replays will be up till midnight tonight, Mountain Time, and we are definitely going to take them down from that. Hi, Steve. It's just giving you some serotonin, oxytocin right now. Oh, thanks, Mason. Appreciate it. So setup guide is designed to arm the customer against buyer's remorse, correct? It's one of the ways to arm them against those things. Yeah. Where can I go rewatch this again? It will be on offermindmasterclass.com. As soon as I end this, the feed will be live. I think it takes YouTube just a couple minutes to render, and then it'll be up. So I'll have part 1 or session 1 will be on that page, session 2. And then tomorrow at 10 a.m. Mountain Time as well, I will take down, meaning it'll be at midnight tonight that those go away, but at 10 a.m. session 3 will also start there. Everything happens right off the OfferMind Masterclass page. What is up? Sweet. Allowing the market to dictate what they want. Yeah. We're going to get into that even more as we move forward here. So a red ocean would be schools should provide preparation for life. A good customer would be someone that hates that his kids has to go there. I don't have enough background right now to move forward on that. My head's spinning, making sure I'm focused on this. By the way, anyone want to post a summary? You are good, Mr. Larson. Thank you, Ivan. Quantum physics of the marketing world. Thank you, Chris. I've been journaling my journey into marketing and the problems I've run into. Everything from mindset to technical understanding. Now I can create content, identify ID shifts, and set up guides. Straight up. I love it. That's exactly right. When speaking belief patterns, I'm almost caught up to the comments, guys, and we'll do a little spot training here to make sure we got it all set up for you and that it's awesome, because we're going to take this down and then chop it all up and then put it back so it's awesome. That's why I'm stopping and pausing here, because we're recording on YouTube, but it's not actually for the course here. When speaking belief patterns that keep people from new opportunities, is it okay to speak about spiritual beliefs taught people like John Maxwell, Dr. Carolyn Leaf, compiled audiobooks? Yeah. Now, I'm not going to get into copywriting law, or copyright law, I should say. Copywriting. You tell us what to do. Copyright law. But when it comes down to it, give credit where credit's due. You see me citing a lot of sources as well. I think it's important, so if it all just comes from you, I think people will think that, the point is to go as far as the yellow brick road has gone and then add another brick on the end. So that means I'm going to learn from all the people historically, and then I'm going to add my brick on the end. How do we know if we've drilled too far down into a market or if it's too broad? Can you give a few examples of markets? Yeah. So smartphone market, personal computer market. Right. It's a similar solution to one problem, right? Lots of solutions that are given as options for a single problem. That's what a market really is. And there's buyers and sellers around it and an ecosystem that supports it. That's really what a market is. So there was a time I was standing, I was teaching this funnel hackathon event, and people paid 15 to 25 grand to be in the room. And what was cool about it was I had the opportunity to coach and teach a lot of this. It was Russell and I for 3 days, and I would teach a big chunk. Russell would come in and teach, and we go back and forth. It was a lot of fun. Well, it was during a break, and this guy stands up and he runs around the corner during the break. The break just started. He ran around the corner, ran up to me, and he goes, "Steven, I have this amazing idea." And then he went and he showed me the idea. He said, "Do you think that's a good idea?" And I said, "Well, first of all, I don't represent your market, so why are you asking me? Second of all, what's the red ocean that you're coming out of that you'll be selling this product back into?" And he goes, "I don't know." And I said, "Well, then I don't care how good the offer is. That's the riskiest crap I've heard of in my life." You see what I'm saying? Understanding and being able to name your market. And it's one of the most challenging aspects of this whole thing as you start to move forward in this. It's like, be gentle on yourselves, guys. If you never thought about this, like as you're moving forward in this whole game, realize that naming, actually being able to say, this is my market, which is a red ocean, right? Being able to say that, that's not normal. And being able to do that, though, is a huge, huge, huge advantage, first of all, of you over other marketers. But it's where a lot of this stuff, as soon as you can name the market, a lot of this stuff is just very fill in the blanks. You just got to research it, educate yourself a little bit, and boom, then you're done, and you can go and you can launch the next thing. Awesome content. Hey, thank you very much. What's up, Steele? Remarket journey. How could I know what they've tried and failed in the past? If it failed, it won't be online anymore. So a lot of times what I'm looking at is I'm asking successful companies, that kind of stuff, right? It's kind of interesting. You actually can go in and learn a lot. Actually, Tim Ferriss kind of talks a little bit about this. In the 4-Hour Workweek, he gives some examples of how you can get market data. And he talks about calling companies and things you can say with them. And guys, I'll be honest, we're all freaks in nature, right? Like not many people on this planet like, first of all, funnels. Second of all, funnels like how I'm teaching them. It's a very small group of people who are psychos and we're all nerds, and we all can hug each other and be a community together, right? You have to understand that when some other person walks up to me and says, "Man, Steven, don't you just love offers?" Man, I'm going to barf on them. Oh my gosh, yes, I do. Someone else like me? Foo, right? And what's funny about that is it's the same kind of thing. When you start trying to find this kind of data, you'll actually realize it's not as hard as you guys might be thinking that it is. Just go start asking, and you'll find that these entrepreneurs are like someone I can talk to besides just the sale. I mean, they like the sale, but I can actually geek out about. Whoosh, well, yes, here's everything that I'm doing. And I have found more helpful information just by asking it than any kind of sneaky thing. So once you understand a lot who like the successful companies are in the red ocean, just start asking them stuff. Rosita just signed up for your offer lab. Already love it. Hey, awesome. Thank you so much. Rosita, offer lab is worth every penny. I appreciate that very much. Where's the link for the first video? It will show up on that OfferMind masterclass.com page as soon as we're done with this. I was just at Roger Love's Voice Success event in LA. He's amazing. He's so cool. He offered us tickets for it and we wanted to take it, but I think that's when we went to Jeff Walker. Which sucks. I really wanted to go to his thing. He was like, hey, man, you want tickets? And we're like, yes. Anyway, he's the man. Mad respect for him. Do you have a digital product for people abroad of the U.S. that has this? Do you have a digital product for people abroad of the U.S. that has this? I'm not sure what you mean of this stuff? I'm doing it right now. Let's see. This is the breakdown of NLP, but on steroids. Yeah, a little bit, right? With the drug thing. Boom. You're giving me all the types of dose, Steve. Pearls of wisdom being dropped. Boom, I'm back. Awesome. Not easy. I'll figure it out. You don't know what you don't know. How long does it take you to go through this process for a product? It seems massive. Could get stuck in the details for a long time. How do you expedite it? Avoid analysis paralysis. Nicole, it's a great question. So one of the easiest ways to avoid analysis paralysis, I actually do it with my content. I will call my shot in my podcast intros. And then I just document my journey on the way to whatever I called my goal out to be. And that sounds crazy, but you actually become really attractive to an audience or anyone who's willing to listen when you say, I'm not where I'm trying to go. Do you want to see what the mistakes I'm making and the successes I'm having along the way as well? And they're like, yeah, of course, right? That actually is really, really powerful. It's one of the ways that I've actually been able to launch things without having every single one of these data points figured out. Okay. And it's been crazy to do it that way, right? It's been so nuts to do it that way. When you start figuring out like, hey, this is where I want to go. I'll tell you one thing here. Like, I didn't figure out what I really wanted to do until November of last year. That was only 5 months ago, not even. All right. That should tell you something. Okay. That should tell you something. That's a big, big deal to not know that I'd already been active in the thing, right? It was probably 2 years ago. I was hanging out with the inner circle at Russell's, and it was so funny, guys. I was Myron Golden was there, Russell was right there, and it was the three of us. We were just standing there in James Friel's house, and we were standing there, and they said, "Well, how's it going, man? You made the jump, right?" And I had made the jump, and I was successful. We were selling successfully, which is awesome. And what's interesting is they go, "How's it going?" And I said, "I'm trying to figure out my purpose." And I kid you not, Russell starts laughing hysterically, like abundantly laughing, like keel over laughing. I was like, dude, it's not that funny, man. Like, what are you talking? Why are you laughing? I'm trying to figure out my purpose. And he goes, and Myron Golden turned for a second as I said that. And they try, I go, wait, what did he just say? He goes, and no joke, Russell leans up and he goes, he asked the purpose question. And Myron over on this side, he starts laughing. He's like, are you serious, man? I was like, what? Why is that such a big deal, right? I'm trying to figure out my purpose so I can go attach to it and dominate it, right? I'm going to go wreck it. And what's funny is Russell looks up and he goes, dude, you already know the answer to this, right? Just go add value and serve people. That's it. He goes, I didn't find my purpose with ClickFunnels until I'd already been doing this game for 12 years. And Myron was like, yeah, dude, I figured out 3 months ago what I actually wanted to go do. And I was like, oh, that makes me feel so much better. And then when the pressure came down, I was like, okay, well then do I design it or do I discover it? Right? Should I design the success or should I discover the success? Should I design my purpose or should I discover the purpose? I don't want to force anything. And he said, come on, man, you already know the answer. It's going to be something that you find along the way. And I was like, awesome. The reason I'm telling you this is because a lot of times what happens is I start teaching this stuff to people and they're like, that is so much stuff. Oh my gosh. Right. And I get it because it is. It's a lot of stuff. Understand that you're not going to know all the stuff usually as you start to move forward. But what's interesting is you discover more and more and more what it is that you want to do, who you want to sell, what you want to sell, the combinations between them as you move forward. This is stuff to keep you cognizant. I still try to find as much of this as possible before I move forward with the complete understanding that is live. It's a living thing. Okay. It's very live. It's malleable as we move forward with this. Okay. Offer Nerds Unite. Love it, Donald. Yes, Offer Nerds Unite. Yeah, love it. How do we test a sales message before creating the product? You're talking about launch strategies. We'll talk about that another time. There's a lot of ways. That's actually how I did it. We pulled 6 figures before the product was even done or delivered. There's no bait and switch. Everybody knew. They knew that. It was in the sales message. Hey, this is not done. Okay, what you're buying is beta access. And like, woo! I did 6 figures at the door, jumping out of on my own. And anyways, just please know that the strategy clearly, it definitely exists. All right. How do you do market research if you don't have an audience yet? Very good question. All right. How do you do market research when you don't have an audience? Guys, we should all be able to answer that now. All right. Remember back to the island? Remember your little hut? Where am I getting all my data from? Because the blue ocean doesn't exist yet. It doesn't exist, right? Therefore, it's not definable. I can't learn anything from a market that's not there. So it's a good question. But where does the data come from? The red ocean. That's why we spend so much time figuring out we spend so much time figuring out the market that we're going to go study, and then we learn how to sell the certain kind of type 1 person inside that market. All the data for literally 80% of it doesn't come from me. I don't need to be a creative genius to make a lot of money in this, right? We're on our 9th month in a row of 6 figures. And before that was still really high also. It's really cool, right? But why? It's because my product didn't come from my own head. That was the big problem with the first 12 businesses I tried to launch early on in my entrepreneurial career, and why they all failed. I'm not the one buying it. That's why I keep saying that. I'm not the one buying it. Okay. I'm not the one buying it. You need to understand that if you can go in and learn how to be a detective and see these things, you'll start to see these patterns like, oh my gosh, everybody in this red ocean is doing this, but they all hate this and this. They're loving this piece. They like getting their drugs this way, right? This is the journey they've all been on. But I have this thing I could set on the end of the journey that they're experiencing, and that can be my blue ocean, okay? So you go in and you're only capturing data. How do you do market research if you don't have an audience? You're learning about the red ocean. It definitely gets easier when you have an audience, but that literally means that your market is starting to change, right? Because your market is starting to be in your list. Important things in life like flat, sleep, drink, girl, shower. Nice. Thanks. Dang, that purpose story is so incredibly valuable. I always lose myself wanting clarity on purpose. Please preach that story more. It's good stuff. Thank you so much, Momo. Purpose answer is really good. Yeah, we need more love, health, and peace. Absolutely love it. Some good questions in here. Yeah, I love it. I love the questions here, guys. This is awesome stuff. Yay. Red ocean. It comes from the red ocean. What the flip is the red ocean? You should probably go back and watch to this morning's session because I went through that quite in depth. You're a genius. Hey, thank you very much. I think not the blue ocean. I want to create a funnel that introduces multidimensional rehabilitation centers using aboriginal healing modality called holistic genetics. As long as you take out all that technobabble. I could barely read the sentence. I'm not calling you out. I'm just saying that's not going to be easy for people to read. My target is veterans. Cool. Red ocean is competitive, crowded market, lots of sharks. Nice to raise awareness about spiritual ramification to heal PTSD. Does the CJ ever split into two? Oh. I was like, CJ, you don't split yourself. Does customer journey ever split into two? Possibly, but usually there is a journey that's represented by the ocean as a whole. Right? Like, I mean, if you guys ever seen me tell the fake book story, I'll probably do it here and I'm going to call it out now. But the reason why it works is because the story that I created, even though it's completely fake, it's effective because it is representative of the overall story that most people in ClickFunnels experience. Right? And so that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for an overall pattern that the majority are feeling, and that's what I'm going to go build a sales message off of. I want your work ethic. What's your morning routine? I don't know. I don't really have one, to be honest. Well, my work ethic. Usually when someone needs motivation, it's because they are not attached to the thing they really love. What about ask campaigns to find out your info about beliefs and stories when you're just starting out? I tried for 3-4 months and gathered 4. Totally get it. Totally get it. One of the easiest ways to do it. In fact, the fastest way I've ever gathered information about a red ocean is by getting to be friends with a C-level influencer in the red ocean. And then I ask them if I can run the ask campaign to their list, and I'll share the data back with them. I'll run the whole campaign. I'll do the whole thing. I just want to know. And I'll give you back my results as well as we move forward and the list that comes from it. They're like, oh, what's up? That's awesome. I've done that multiple times now. Live the fake book story. Awesome. Yeah, tell the fake book story. I hear you refer to it, but I haven't heard it. We certainly will. Definitely. I don't understand anything, but you're nice. Sweet. Well, you probably just barely got here. That's probably why. Do you see this applies equally to both men's brains and women's brains? Yeah. Yeah. What's that book? It does talk about the differences, though, a little bit.
I thought,
it's not A Whole New Mind. It's that other one that.
Yeah.
I'll try and find it, guys. I got too many bookshelves over. There's a lot of bookshelves over there, and a lot of books on them. All right. I actually created a blue before asking the red. How can I now get more info to make the product even better? I did the same thing, Kevin. I actually became the category king of a new category that I didn't mean to create, which is how I started designing and developing a lot of this content. I was like, snap, why did that work so well? Right. And the reason why is because I had to become the category king. You created a blue ocean without kind of realizing it. Totally get it. That actually happens more often than people would probably think. It's cool when you do it with intent, though. Happens far more likely that way. But anyway, I accidentally created the king. How can I get more info to make the product even better? You're still going to find a way. You still got to find a way, Kevin, to attach yourself to a red ocean. That clarity will actually bring clarity for the new customer coming in. You still want to attach yourself to that. Secondly, though, with this, like, now that you have people coming in and buying, you have this really unique scenario where your current buyer's list is your source of information. Then you ask them what they want in addition to what they've already bought from you. And it's like, it's very hard for a product to fail by that standpoint. What if I feel guilty selling something I think kids need for free, like mentoring? Then usually that means you have a money objection of your own that you haven't overcome. Is a sales message like a webinar? Yeah, VSL, long form sales letter, etc. Basically, the platform is kind of irrelevant. Exactly, Dane. The way that you look at it, so a sales message is, you can deliver it in multiple ways, just like you're saying. I've delivered a sales message on successive kind of organized podcast episodes even, where I'll drip out the sales message across several in-order podcast episodes. Or you could do it in a sales letter, or you could do it in a VSL, like you said, a webinar. Those are just modalities to actually deliver it. Let's see. Would make money online be considered the red ocean or a level deeper, such as affiliate marketing or digital marketing agency? I don't know what you sell, so I can't really answer that. What's the best time to create a brand? Way after you've created a category. You have 2 rings on. Why? I talked about that. One is a Aura ring. Let's stay on topic. All right. I'm going to, let's see here. Let's make sure we've got this. Product booming third. Okay. Now I want to talk to you guys one last piece here. One last principle that's incredibly important. And it's the major, when it comes to sales message writing, it actually is one of the major secret weapons. I don't consider myself to be a copywriter, but it's one of the reasons why this stuff works so well. Okay. So I'm actually going to erase this. All right. What you're trying to do, now that you gather all this data, actually, you know what? It makes more sense for me to do it in the next piece. So I'll do it then. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to help you guys identify what themes already exist inside of the red ocean that you can turn into your sales message. Okay, it's very, this is like one of the most key pieces I can teach ever. And this is, again, one of the major reasons why someone's offer doesn't sell. Not that they don't have a good one. It's not that it's not already kind of awesome. The reason why is because of what I'm going to talk about tomorrow at 10 a.m. Mountain Time. Okay, and so I'll share with you guys then. So anyways, guys, I would really, really appreciate it if you could go and leave me a review. I am appalled that people who don't have nearly as good as content have more reviews than I do. If you guys could go to sjlreview.com, Stephen Joseph Larson Review, sjlreview.com. Just leave an honest feedback. I don't care if it's bad. I just need feedback in general. I would love to hear what it is that you guys have to say about this. I'm going to take these videos. They'll be on OfferMind Masterclass till midnight tonight, Mountain Time, and then 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. We will go live again. I'm going to teach you guys both about sales message creation, but specifically, I'm not a copywriter. So I don't want to go like crazy deep into it and get all nerded out and stuff like that. Like that's actually not why I'm here. It's fun for me, but it's not that fun. Copywriting is an essential part of it, and I've learned to enjoy it more and more. I'd rather do some of these other pieces like offer creation. We're actually going to start with the sales message though. And then the next session tomorrow will actually be about offer templates and how you can, the different kinds of templates that have already been proven to making cool offers. I'm going to walk you guys through specifically 4 or 5. If we have time, we'll go through the 5th one. Then the next sessions after that, we'll go through the funnels. That'll be Friday morning, and we're going to talk about value ladder design. And then Friday afternoon will be heavily into pricing structures and maybe a launch campaign or two. So awesome stuff, guys. If you have enjoyed this, again, please go leave me a review. Second of all, I would love it if you come to OfferMind. OfferMind tickets will be available very, very soon at offermind.com. You can join the waiting list. We actually have more people on the waiting list than there are seats in the room this year. Russell's keynoting, which is very exciting. It'll be September 2nd and 3rd here in Boise at the Boise Center, which is the largest room in this entire city we could find. And then, if you guys want my help in this kind of stuff where I'm insanely nerdy, go to myofferlab.com. Thanks so much, guys. We'll see you guys tomorrow at 10 a.m.